Hey Chibis, I'm Wei, and today we're talking about 2 disputed deaths in Malta and France and the evidence behind the official stories. If you enjoy stories like this, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go! A bicycle that appears untouched after a fall and a forensic claim that cannot be evaluated without the original reports. These are not just strange details. They are tests of how much a story can carry when the evidence underneath it is incomplete. In one account, a young tourist disappears on Malta and is later found below a cliff. In another, a man vanishes before a family gathering in France, and a separate homicide eventually pulls investigators back to his case. Both stories have dramatic explanations, but drama is not proof. So the question is simple. What do the documented facts establish, and what has been added by retelling? Act 1. How an official story takes shape. When someone is found dead beneath a cliff, an accidental fall can seem obvious. But a conclusion like that should be built from several independent points. The likely point of departure, the injury pattern, the position of the body, the condition of nearby objects, witness accounts, phone records, and the preservation of the scene. A fall may explain severe injuries. It does not automatically explain why a person was at the location, whether another person was present, or what happened to belongings that are not recovered. The first case concerns a German teenager reported to have disappeared while visiting Malta in 2016. The name and some details vary between accounts, so they should be confirmed through police records, family statements, and forensic documents before being presented as settled fact. According to the reported account, he rented a bicycle near a harbor and planned to explore the island. He sent his father a voice message before setting out, then stopped responding. He later missed a flight, and a missing person report was made. Act 2. The cliff and the unanswered objects. The teenager was reportedly found in a rocky crevice beneath cliffs on Malta's western side. The explanation offered was that he had fallen while cycling, and that his injuries were consistent with blunt force trauma from such a fall. That wording deserves care. Consistent with a fall is not the same as proof of an accidental fall. A medical examiner can identify a likely mechanism of injury without establishing every event that led to it. To do that, investigators would need scene photographs, recovery coordinates, trajectory analysis, and a clear chain of custody for the bicycle and personal effects. The missing backpack became especially important in the family's account. If the teenager had been carrying one, it might have contained his phone, wallet, or other clues. But the absence of a backpack is not conclusive by itself. Without records, it is an unresolved detail rather than proof of another person's involvement. The bicycle was also described as being found nearby and apparently undamaged. That can feel incompatible with a fatal fall, but objects do not necessarily follow the same path as a person. Its condition becomes meaningful only when photographs and scene measurements show exactly where it was and whether it was disturbed. Another detail concerns grass near the recovery area, which was reportedly freshly cut. Again, this may raise a legitimate question about when the area was maintained and whether anyone should have noticed the body. But mowing could have occurred before or after the death, and the relevant evidence would be maintenance records, weather information, search logs, and precise recovery photographs. Act 3. What a second examination can and cannot show. The most extraordinary claim concerns a second examination reportedly arranged in Germany. Accounts say the original examination attributed death to injuries compatible with a fall. They also say the later examination found that the internal organs were absent and that the body showed clean incisions. This claim cannot responsibly be treated as established without the actual reports. The central questions are precise. Which organs were absent? Were any retained as tissue samples? Had they been removed during the first autopsy? Was the body embalmed or altered before transfer? Were the alleged incisions documented by photographs and interpreted by an independent forensic pathologist? There are non-criminal explanations for missing internal material. Autopsies may involve organ removal, sampling, retention for testing, or transfer under separate documentation. Decomposition can also change internal anatomy, although it cannot settle a claim about deliberate incisions. That is why the wording of both reports matters more than a shocking summary repeated years later. One reported explanation attributed the changes to rodents. That statement itself requires confirmation from an official document or a direct quotation. The question is whether the condition described in this case was medically documented as postmortem animal activity and whether that interpretation was supported by examination findings. A criminal complaint was reportedly filed in Malta in 2021 and rejected by prosecutors. Even that outcome needs context. It does not automatically prove either a cover-up or a complete vindication of the original account. Act 4. When disappearance becomes homicide. The second case is also difficult to verify in the form commonly circulated. It concerns a man who reportedly disappeared in France in 1996 before a family gathering at a wooded property outside Paris. Names, dates, and the identities of several people vary between retellings, so the legal record must take priority. The early investigation appears to have faced a familiar problem. There was no immediately identified body, no confirmed crime scene, and no clear evidence that violence had occurred. A friend reportedly said the missing man had discovered a dangerous secret. His fiancée also wondered whether stress about an upcoming wedding might have influenced his behavior. Those were hypotheses, not established motives. A nervous witness is not automatically guilty, and a missing adult may leave by choice. Reports say searches found nothing, but the scope and quality of those searches also require documentation. The case reportedly changed the following year when investigators connected the missing man's friend to a separate victim found in Amsterdam. During questioning, the friend allegedly expressed fear of becoming another victim. He then described the homicide in Portugal from the mid-1990s and claimed that the missing man had learned about it. That account, if accurately reported, would explain why suspicion returned to the disappearance. It would not, by itself, prove every part of the story. A witness may be frightened, mistaken, self-protective, or attempting to redirect blame. Cross-border allegations require corroboration through statements, forensic evidence, communications, and court findings. According to the reported legal outcome, 3 men were convicted in France in 2009 in connection with the missing man's killing. A conviction can establish legal responsibility for a particular crime without proving every dramatic detail later attached to it. The same people were reportedly investigated over the Amsterdam death but were never charged. That distinction is essential. Investigation means authorities considered a connection. It does not mean responsibility was proven. If the Dutch case remains unresolved, it must remain unresolved in the narration too. Act 5. What these cases actually teach. The strongest link between the stories is not a hidden conspiracy. It is the danger of tidy explanations. Accident and voluntary disappearance are useful starting categories, but they should remain provisional. They are supposed to guide testing, not replace it. A suspicious detail is valuable because it tells investigators where to look next. It is not valuable because it automatically confirms the most frightening theory. The bicycle, the backpack, the glass, and the autopsy claim may all deserve scrutiny. None can carry the whole conclusion alone. There is also a difference between administrative failure and criminal conspiracy. Misnotifications, incomplete inventories, poor searches, or inconsistent reporting can result from error, delay, or institutional weakness. Those failures can be serious, but they become evidence of a coordinated cover-up only when records and corroborated testimony demonstrate coordination. And there is a human cost to overstating uncertainty. Families deserve answers, but victims should not be turned into props for theories that available evidence cannot support. The responsible positions sometimes frustratingly narrow. This is documented, this is reported, this is disputed, and this remains unknown. The Maltese case needs original autopsy reports, scene photographs, evidence inventories, and an independent comparison of the examinations. The French case needs the judgment, investigative records, and reliable documentation of the related killings. Until those sources are available, certainty should be limited. The lesson is not that official conclusions are always wrong, or that strange details always reveal murder. It is that a conclusion earns trust when the evidence beneath it is accessible, consistent, and open to challenge. If you value careful true crime storytelling, consider subscribing. And if you know of a reliable public record that could clarify either case, share the source rather than the rumor. That is how unanswered questions become better investigations.